Nice Micro Monday, Dave's Blamage. If you are interested in technology and you watch tech-related videos on YouTube, you might have come across this YouTube channel called Dave's Garage, made by Dave Plummer, who used to be a Microsoft engineer. And to me, the first introduction to this channel was this Secret Life of Windows Task Manager video in which he describes his part in developing the Task Manager for Microsoft Windows. And if you are in the Linux sphere, you might have heard of him as someone who said something very interesting, let's say, in a YouTube comment response in which he said that Linux is closed source to some degree and you shouldn't blame Windows for being closed source because Linux is also closed source, and he made this very strange false equivalency, which might have been just a joke that's gone too far, I don't know. But that's not really what I want to talk about. That's not what I named this video, Dave's Blamage, which is, I think, a German word for disgrace, but it rhymes with garage, so here you have it. So David Plummer is a programmer. You can find this information on Wikipedia, of all places. So if we scroll down to his career section, we can see that he left Microsoft in 2003 and started his own company called Software Online LLC. And I will be honest with you, but this is a company name that I would think it's a fake company. So it's just, who names the company like this? But anyways, Microsoft also sounds like a fake company if you don't know what it is actually. So I guess there's no foul in here. But this Wikipedia page alleges that in 2006, the SoftwareOnline.com, run by Plummer, was sued by the Washington State Attorney General Office for alleged violations of the Consumer Protection Act after they got complaints for their Registry Cleaner and Internet Shield programs. In this lawsuit, they ended up paying $150,000 in civil penalties, so they have not found guilty in a criminal sense, so they did not commit any crimes, but they caused some kind of damage for which they had to pay some civil penalties and also legal fees. And you can find on the internet, and I will link them in the description box down below, the complaint of the state court of or the state of Washington King County Superior Court, and also the the judgment summary, in which we can find. So judgment summary will tell us what the things that they had to pay for, and we can go down here and figure out. Well, I guess the defendants are listed in the complaint more, in more detail. So they call one of the defendants is SoftwareOnline.com, of course, the company who made these programs, but also Dave Plummer himself appears as a named party in this complaint as the Chief Technology Officer of Software Online, and as such controls its policies, activities, and practices, including those alleged in the complaint herein. So they say that whatever this company was doing, that was a bad thing, that David was in power and oversaw these things that they were doing. And if we go down to the findings of fact, we can find what are those nefarious things that this company was doing. And so, for example, they say that, where do you find this? Yeah, they're promoting and advertising Registry Cleaner and Internet Shield. So these are the names of the two programs here. Defendants offered the user a free scan of the user's computer and then offered to fix a small number of the problems identified by the scan. So you had to download this free scan program that would run on your computer and offer to fix a small number of problems, and then this program would strongly recommend that the user purchase the full program in order to protect from the remaining issues on the computer. And if the user declined to purchase the full program, the software generated multiple advertisements or dialog boxes and or launched new browser windows in order to continue to induce the user to purchase the full program. So new windows popping up. This is just deliberately trying to confuse the user and make sure that they cannot just easily decline to purchase this program. So the advertisements and dialog boxes repeatedly warn the user of the threat or risk remaining on the user's computer. And if you are a Linux user, you might interject for a moment that, well, this is maybe on Windows, these are true. That's why you should use Linux instead of trying to plug in the holes in Windows with these kind of programs. But that's just my interjection here. So no matter what the scan results of the user's computer revealed, and they urged the purchase of the full program. In some instances, if the user did not purchase the program, the scan program would both warn the user of the remaining problems on the computer and the more advertisements would automatically appear on the user screen each time the user restarted the computer until they uninstalled the free scan software or purchased the full product. And so it was giving a very bad experience and a lot of warning type advertisements, and this software was creating this kind of misleading impression of the user's computer being at serious risk without these programs that were sold by this company. So, for example, this is an interesting part is that this Internet Shield allegedly detected vulnerabilities to security and privacy attacks specific to the user's computer, but it was not really specific to the user's computer because they just had this 2000 plus list of websites that the defendants identified as harmful. And if it was not in the computer's restricted zone, it would call that your computer is vulnerable to these websites. And the scan showed the user's computer is vulnerable to these websites, even if all these exact sites were blocked by another means, like, for example, the user's hosts file. So it only looked for this restricted zone, which means that this scan function was totally unreliable in assessing the computer's vulnerability. And they also advertised this program through pop-ups, pop-unders, dialog boxes, chat boxes, some of which were generated by the free scan software. So the this is the most egregious part of all of the things that they were doing, is that misrepresenting the standard buttons on its advertisement and the program interfaces, that if a user clicked on those buttons, the advertisement would close or the process in progress would cease. So this means that they would have like a stop button or an X button, and when you click on the stop button, you expect the process to cease, and if you click on the X button, you expect the advertisement to close. But in many instances, these buttons did the opposite of what the button should do or failed to do what the button should do. So for example, if the user clicked on the X to close the advertisement, rather than the advertisement closing, another advertisement would pop up over the original advertisement. And so if you click the close button, the interface would close button advertisement would pop up and things like that. So we are in the territory of, I don't know, like those scammers, like the what is it called? The when they bring all these fake pop-ups on your browser with phone number, like a call center type scam territory here, but instead of just giving you a phone number to call, they would just try to tell you that if you buy this software directly from them, that will defend your computer. So this was the biggest issue, I think, here is that they just got all the tools from the scammers toolbox and used it to advertise for their own programs, which even did not have a proper uninstall functionality. And then this complaint, or rather this fact-finding, also alleges that if you wanted to purchase these services and products, it would add additional products or services which were checked in by default. So you would end up even buying more stuff once you decided to purchase the program. So that's what I wanted to talk about, because on this channel, while I'll talk a lot about Linux and free software, my focus is not really just the practicalities of Linux, even though I have a lot of practical tutorials, but I'm really interested in the ethics of software, and you can see here that this guy is not really that interested in the ethics of software, or at least wasn't in the early 2000s. So whenever you watch the content, I mean, if you don't care about these things, you might still enjoy the viewing experience, and I'm not going to say that his takes on the history of Microsoft Windows, for example, are not reliable, because they, well, might be. So maybe if you just want a window into how Windows was developed, then this YouTube channel is a good place to start. But I wouldn't take anything seriously from this guy that's related to ethics of software, or how software should be distributed and how software shouldn't be distributed. So if he doesn't think Windows is a rootkit, that's, well, I don't think Windows is a rootkit either, but anyways, thing is that now that you know all this information, and you can just read up on this in the sources down below, now you know how to consume his content. And if you enjoy what I'm doing, you can always give me a thumbs up. You can always argue with me down in the comment section, and you can subscribe to the channel for more on this type of content and other type of contents. And there will be more variety type of contents. I will be doing more Arch Linux related tutorials too in the future. So stay tuned for that too. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.